Hello there. This is my Wusthof classic chef's knife. This is the knife that I use in the kitchen 99% of the time. It needs a little bit of a touch up. And that's my phone trying to tell me my Wi-Fi is working. The Wi-Fi in my house is coming on and off like crazy. Comcast has got some kind of outage in my area. This is a Chocera 1K, a Nanawa Chocera 1K Waterstone. It's a straight razor bevel setter, but I use it on my kitchen knives. For most knives, I use Arkansas stones and oil stones and things of that nature. But for my kitchen knives, because I like a big 10-inch chef knife, and I want a larger surface area to sharpen these knives, I tend to use the Chocera, the Nanawas, and such. And what it is I have, this knife has a bolster right here, and you want to be careful when you sharpen it not to end up having the bolster, having the blade slide up here. It's going to eventually, the longer that you have it, and the bolster will be proud of the edge. So I'm not going to try to grind really hard on there, but I've told you before, I use this area of the knife a lot, even in the kitchen. And it is duller than the rest of the knife, so what I'm going to do in this particular stone, the one that I have comes glued to a base. Depending on when you buy them and who you buy them from, they can either come with a base or they can come without it. I'd much rather put this in a stone holder, but I'm not messing around and trying to get that off the base. It's just not going to happen. Now I've got to be careful with this knife because this knife is still razor sharp. It's just that one little spot on the heel there that I don't like. And so this is more of a refresh of that particular area. But I'll come forward a bit. And I'm looking for a burr, same thing as I would anywhere else. Stand by. That was the wife. She knows that I forget quite a bit. So she was asking me, did I take my shot, my insulin tonight? And all I did was, this section was getting dry and there was water pooling up here, so I pulled it down. Lovely. Lovely. Lovely tiny little burr there. But I'm going to give it a bit more. And no, you can do it if you want. I'm not telling anybody not to do anything, but you ain't got to do all of this number with it. This stone will sharpen this knife in a standard Western type of stroke. See, that's the thing. I'm not knocking anybody. There are guys that use the Japanese half strokes and all of that to really good effect. And I'm not knocking them. They can do what they want. But I like a Western knife. That's lovely. And I like a Western stroke. And that's just a personal preference. Why? Because this is the technique I learned when I was young. It's one that has served me really well. I'm going to turn the stone around. Now, these are water stones. They are softer. They will dish a lot faster. They'll come out as flat a lot faster. You can wear the stone in odd ways if you're not careful. That kind of thing. Now what I'm going to do, okay, I just wanted to put a little bit of extra right there on that heel, and now I'm going to blend that back. And notice I didn't grind the living snot out of it. Just a few extra strokes. Alright. So we're going to do the same thing here, if I can keep everything out of the way. Actually, what I'm going to do, if I can do it, my camera's in the way. Excuse me a minute. That in the, yeah. Can you see that? Yeah. That's one of the, you see how I've turned this stone? Okay? Because it wasn't working for me. Where it was. For this pull stroke. Now the way I'm using this, you don't see it off the camera. But my tripod is right here. So this blade is sliding underneath the center post of the tripod. And I'm using great care not to smack it against the edge against the tripod. That is just, I mean, I am making a video, so I have to have a camera. And so that's, but the technique is exactly the same depending on the knife you have. For whatever the knife is that you have. That's flipping lovely. Alright, I have a burr on the other side. Now we're gonna do alternating strokes. Being careful how you lay it on the stone. Because the thing of it is with this knife, because of its size, and that angle there is better for both strokes. This way and this way. But you see, I'm laying it on this corner because I am using every single bit of this stone. I could actually use like a 12-inch long stone. I don't know if they make such a thing in the water stone, but and probably not. But you see how I'm purposely, I'm not going willy-nilly. I'm setting the blade down and I'm finding the angle. And then I'm sharpening the blade. Speed does not indicate knowledge or skill. It doesn't rule out that. But, first of all, I'm not running a race. And if I were to compare it to a race, I'd definitely say that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Now, let me check that. Lovely. Yeah, and it's shaving like a skull today. Now, for a kitchen knife, that right there, probably all the edge that you need. 1K is probably all the refinement you really need on a kitchen knife. But I like and I want a bit more. So what I have here is a Nano-Agoken Hayabusa 4K. It's a fantastic stone, and will do anything. It'll do exactly what I want it to do to that edge. Nano-Agoken Hayabusa. That's the box it comes in. 4K Waterstone. And you see how I've changed to this angle. One of the things that you should understand that is that, there's my dyslexia kicking in, that is instead of is that. But one of the things that you should understand is that sometimes, depending on the stone or the knife, size or shape or otherwise, you might end up having to adjust what you're doing either to accommodate the stone or to accommodate the knife. Either one. Don't be shy about doing it. Don't feel uncomfortable with it either. Now if I had a 3K, I would have went to that. You really don't need a huge number as far as the fineness of the edge when it comes to a chef knife. And in my opinion, you can get so high in the grit rating that you take away the tooth on the edge, and that is something that needs to be on a kitchen knife. If you want to cut through something like a tomato, you want a little bit of tooth on there, because the skin of a tomato will give just a bit under an edge, and you want to be able to have enough tooth there that it will cut it. Now I'm remember I said I had the center post of the camera. I'm smacking this part of the blade when I go to put it up under here like this. I'm coming like that, and I'm smacking this side of the edge. Well, I smacked the stone then. But on that center post, I'm not smacking the edge. I don't want to do either one, but it is what it is. I'm working with a camera, and if you're doing YouTube, you got to accommodate that too, not just the stone and the blade, but that camera and a microphone. And I can already see that I've got a pretty nicely polished edge there. I don't know if you can see it or not. But that's absolutely lovely, and it'll be sharp to right about here. It is, I already know, because I checked it. And that concludes sharpening of a kitchen knife. Thanks for watching. Bless you. And I'll talk to you later.